Klanger bangers. Here's something fun to make. Do you have any wire clothes hangers? Ask your mom or dad. Don't just take one, because this is going to wreck it for hanging stuff on. Carefully, you may need help and pliers. Unwind the top so you have a long piece of metal. It's okay if it's not straight. Be careful because the ends may be sharp. Now, get a piece of thread about as long as you can stretch out your arms. Wrap one end of the string around each end of the wire. It doesn't have to be at the very end, just near the end. If it keeps coming off, wrap it tightly, then use some tape to make it stay. Drape the string over your head, and with the thread running over your index fingers, stick your fingers in your ears. Now, knock the wire against something. It will sound like a big gong. Betty does the bump. "I don't dance," Big Betty Brown barked. "Go away and leave me be. I know your game. You got no shame, can't make a fool of me. Get the fat girl spinning round, then trip her up. Make her fall down so's you can laugh. Your friends laugh too. Just go away, I'm on to you." But he stood still, hand held out, cheeks full up with grin that tickled to his eyes and spilled all down his chin. "Now listen to me, Betty. Listen close and learn. We all got dance inside ourselves, and Betty, it's your turn. You got to get up on that floor. You need to learn to bump. It's time to shimmy, time to shake, time to move and jump. I'll stand here for eternity. Come on, take a chance. Heave yourself up out that chair, close your eyes, and dance. I'll show you how to do it, babe. Your body knows the way. Fix your eyes into my eyes, all else will fade away. All else will fade away. Stand on up. Can't you hear that drum? Can't you feel that beat calling, come, Betty, come, Betty, come, Betty, come? And then Betty couldn't help it. She was up out on the floor. That grin that he was grinning wide began to spread out more. Now, move whatever wants to move. Shake it all around. Listen to the music. Roll around the sound. Something wants to swoop or bend. Do it. Claim your right. Let the music loosen up whatever's feeling tight. And Betty caught the feeling. Betty caught the groove. Betty started shaking and started in to move. Betty's arms were waving, scooping up the breeze. Her feet kicked higher than the moon to flabellate her knees. She leapt up high. She tripped and fell, but didn't care at all. She bounced right back, laughed and roared as if she'd planned to fall. The drums shook Betty's bottom. Betty shook it back, slapping rhythms on herself, syncopating thwack-a-thwack. Betty bumping round the floor, Betty grinning, wanting more. She was hooked, she had to bump, she had to shimmy, she had to jump. Betty and the bump that night was what she had to learn. Now grins and chins is standing here, and guess what? It's your turn. Jeremy. When Tracy was a little girl, she knew she was a boy. It isn't just the clothes I wear or what's my favorite toy. It's not with whom I want to play, it's who I know I am. It may be hard to think it through, born a girl who is a boy who will be a man. I'll try to explain it. As a girl, I don't fit in. It's hard to tell just how I feel, don't know where I should begin. It's like the hand I write with. I know I'd use my right, even if everyone used their left, or else they'd tease and fight. I hear my parents yelling what to do or say. I don't know how we'll work this out, but won't go away. Their baby girl is not a girl, not now, won't ever be. Get used to it. I'm still your kid. It's just I'm Jeremy. Families. I thought it would be easy. Draw a family. But each kid had a different set. I guess the joke's on me. Some kids had a mom and a dad, one sibling or a few. But 'twasn't that for everyone. They were families too. Marcus has 2 moms and doesn't have a dad. Billy has 2 fathers. There's Daniel and there's Brad. They stared at me when I asked who was what and how it all worked. Parents are parents. Kids are kids. What do you think, you jerk? Wendy has her now dad and her dad that used to be. Sometimes they all go out together and sometimes separately. Jorge has his own room in two totally different houses, different brothers, different sisters, and, of course, different spouses. Sylvie lives in foster care in a big house run by Mrs. M. She says she likes all the kids around and she has lots of friends. I've got a half-sis and a step-sis. It's hard to keep that straight, so I just call them both my sister, and that works out great. So many families, who's to say what's right? A family is who you turn to when you're scared at night. They help you grow up to be the who you want to be. At least, that is what it seems family is to me. Cassidy and the skunk continued. "Hissy boo! Hissy boo!" called Cassidy. "Hissy what?" asked Linnea. "What are you doing?" "I'm calling the skunk," said Cassidy. "Hissy boo! I really need you." "Calling a skunk?" asked Linnea. "You can't call a skunk. They don't come when you call them. You know that." "Hissy child, please stop shouting. I am here. I was asleep, and that is where I would prefer to be." Linnea stared at the skunk. "Did you just talk?" Hissy Boo shook his head. "Exactly what your sister asked. You really need to work on that. Obviously, I can—" Cassidy broke in. "I need your help. I don't know what to do about Herbie." Hissy Boo nodded. "Yes, Herbivore is a bit of a challenge. He keeps growing. How big can he get?" "Well, I have personally seen him grow to the size of a small apartment building. However, I heard that one time in Brussels, that's in Europe—" "An apartment building," shouted Cassidy. "I can't hide a building-sized Herbie." Linnea said, "He eats a lot." "If you think he eats a lot now, how much will he eat when he's that big?" asked Cassidy. Hissy Boo said, "I'm not sure, but I would guess something like several tons a day. I have found that if you pile up what he likes to eat, it is about the same size as he is, or a little bit more." "I can't get that much crunchy green for him," said Cassidy, "and he started looking pretty mean when I didn't want to give him the rest of the lettuce." "Oh yes," agreed Hissy Boo, "Herbie can get quite demanding. He usually breaks the house he appears in once he gets big enough. Why, one time he appeared in a castle, and it only took 3 days before—" "Breaks my house!" cried Cassidy. "He can't break my house." "Certainly he can. I would guess by tomorrow morning he will not be able to fit into any room, and in order to move at all, he will have to—" "I didn't mean he couldn't break my house. I meant I didn't want it to happen." "Oh, that is an entirely different matter. You should really pay more attention to what you say." "I think he should go away," said Linnea, ever the practical one. "Yes," agreed Cassidy. "I can wish him away, can't I?" Hissy Boo shook his head. "Actually, no, you can't." "Why not?" "Herbivore is not part of your normal world. He is here to create balance. I told you that your wishes have consequences." "You mean the chocolate?" Hissy Boo nodded. "Of course. In order to keep the balance of the world, when you wish to have everyone want you to eat nothing but chocolate, Herbie, who eats only crunchy green vegetables, appeared." Cassidy sighed. "So I have to give up chocolate?" Hissy Boo shook his head. "Giving up chocolate won't get rid of Herbie." "You mean I'm stuck with him? He's going to tear my house down?" "Oh, he's so extreme," said Hissy Boo. "You either want nothing but chocolate or no chocolate at all. Think balance. And before you suggest it, the balance has to come from you. Don't be thinking you can force Herbivore to eat some of your chocolate." "But how?" asked Cassidy. "I really like chocolate. I don't want to give it up." Linnea had been thinking and listening. "Maybe you can eat something green, Cassidy. Green and crunchy is good sometimes. Hissy Boo nodded. Your sister has it exactly right. You are the one who created it. You are the one who has to change. Cassidy sighed. I guess I could try it. I like celery, said Linnea, especially if you put peanut butter in the curve. Then it's crunchy and creamy at the same time. I'll try it. Sooner is better, said Hissy Boo. Once Herbie starts growing, he tends to grow faster and faster. Okay, said Cassidy, I'll try it right now. But how will I get green things? Nobody wants me to eat anything but chocolate. I'll help, said Linnea. I'll make Ursula help me with my piano while you sneak in and get some celery. Then tonight at dinner, I'll get extra salad and give you some. Thanks, Linnea. Hissy Boo said, That's taken care of. Now, if you don't mind, I think I'll go back to bed. I hope you have learned your lesson. Thank you, Hissy Boo. I have, promised Cassidy. Hissy Boo had already turned and was walking away. No, you haven't, he said. But you've started. And that is what they did. Linnea kept Ursula busy, and Cassidy started by nibbling a stalk of celery. It wasn't too bad. It's kind of fun after all that chocolate, thought Cassidy. When Mom and Dad came home and Daddy cooked dinner, he made spinach enchiladas and he served Cassidy a plate with them and a salad, just like it was the most normal thing in the world. He seemed to have forgotten about only giving her chocolate. When she and Linnea went upstairs to get ready for bed, they looked everywhere, but there was no Herbie to be found. I still like chocolate, said Cassidy. I like it a lot. But green and crunchy is not so bad either. The end. For now.